Welcome to the video, the best hobbies and interests for your resume and CV. Well, your resume or CV, many online resources say you need all these sections, but I think you only need these six. And if you're wondering about different resume sections, go take a look at my video on that. And of these six, today's video is going to be focusing on the hobbies and interests section, which on your resume should look something like this. So in this video, I'm going to show you why you need this section on your resume. Also show you how to choose the best hobbies for your resume or CV, and I'll give you a list of some of the top hobbies that you can use for your document. I'm Professor Job Offer, and I've spent the last 10 years with a number of Forbes Global 2000 companies, and have helped people land job offers and interviews at companies like this, including these two big tech companies. And I'm here to share with you my tips and tricks on landing your next job offer. So let's start off. Why do we need hobbies and interests? Well, there's a number of different reasons. First and foremost, it's to demonstrate your personality. What are your interests and what do you like to do outside of work? And secondly, it's to help differentiate you from other candidates. Perhaps you have some unique hobbies or interests that are very distinct to you, and that makes you stand out as compared to other people who are also applying for the job. And some of the hobbies and interests you list there may make a great conversation starter with the interviewer, which also helps to kind of loosen up the mood during the interview. And the fourth one here, some hobbies also help to demonstrate skills in maybe communication, organization, maybe in some technical skills, and so on. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more later on in the video. And lastly, your hobbies and interests help the organization and the hiring manager see whether you be culturally fit by seeing what your interests are and what you like to do outside of work. So yeah, those are the reasons on why you need the hobbies and interests section. So let's take a look at how you can choose the best hobbies and interests for your resume. I see that I'm repeating the phrase hobbies and interests quite a bit. Well, first and foremost, you want to have some diverse list of hobbies on your resume. What I mean by this is you want to choose hobbies and interests from various categories. So you do not want to list soccer, football, and basketball, everything within the same category of sports on your resume. You do not want to list all three of drawing, painting, and sculpture, because that's all within the realm of fine arts. And you do not want to list fishing, hiking, camping, all the outdoorsy stuff. Instead, what I mean by diversity is to have something from different categories, like soccer, photography, volunteering, perhaps something in like traveling, language learning, and cooking. All of these belong in different categories, and that helps to show diversity. So that is rule number one for choosing your best hobby, for choosing your hobbies. And rule number two is differentiation. What I mean by this is you want to list hobbies that are not common, something that is very unique to you. It kind of helps to define you and makes you distinct as compared to many other candidates. So let me give you some examples of this. So perhaps some certain sports, like maybe kayaking or rock climbing, that may differentiate you, because there's just so many people who play soccer or football, basketball, and so on, because those are more widely spread sports per se. Or perhaps you do some kind of martial arts, or you have done some kind of martial arts. That's pretty unique. Maybe only like 1 out of 100 people ever engage in martial arts. Perhaps certain instruments, not the more widely played ones, or but something that is more unique. Maybe it's has some cultural implications to it, or you've been playing for a very long time, or volunteering, and so on. So anyhow, just try to think of how you can be different from the other candidates by how can we differentiate yourself with some of these different factors. A third element that you want to consider when you're choosing your hobbies for your resume is actually, I think this is probably the most important. You want to see if you can find some relatable skills from your hobbies to the job you're applying for. How we do that is we start by examining the job description or the job posting, which may look something like this, or it comes in various forms. But once you have taken a look at the job posting, you'll realize that the job has some requirements in terms of the soft and hard skills, which I will probably discuss the differences between the soft and hard skills in another video. But you'll see that the job has some requirements that may have the candidate possess certain communication skills. And if you do see that on the job description, you perhaps want to appeal these kinds of hobbies. You might want to relate these kinds of hobbies and interests on your resume. Perhaps because blogging demonstrates that you have and you are practicing your written communication skills. Same with public speaking. It shows. Why is my mouse over there? And if you have experience with public speaking, it shows that you practice and have verbal communication skills. And volunteering, you're working with other people, constantly communicating, and so on. Okay, I have to kind of fix myself. Not all volunteer positions you work with other people, and just because you do public speaking, it doesn't prove that one is a great orator. But you know what I mean. You can relate these hobbies to the skills that they're asking for, and perhaps the job requires or wishes you have some level of creativity, and in that you can discuss your hobbies and maybe arts or music and or maybe cooking and so on, and or maybe the job requires organization, or it can have like technical skills or analytical skills, whatever they may be. You could find hobbies and you can list your hobbies and discuss your interests in how some of the skills that you develop in your hobbies are related to the a particular skill set the job is looking for, right? So like if you perhaps love to travel, if you do blogging, that you can relate that to the skill of organization. So anyhow, so in choosing your hobbies, the three factors to consider: the diversity, choosing something from a different category, and how each of your hobbies will be unique and how you can differentiate yourself, and lastly, the relatable skills if possible with the hobbies that you're applying for, with the job that you're with the job you're applying for, not with the hobby you're applying for. Yeah, for some reason I can't speak today. And lastly, this brings us to the list of top hobbies for your resumes. So let's take a look at what other resources have to say about some of the best hobbies and interests to put on your resume. This one's kind of unique. It mentions video games. Yeah, apparently that helps to demonstrate problem-solving skills. There's another 10 here. You can see that it's quite diverse. And there's another one from these resources. Yeah, looks like yoga is a pretty common one there. And well, here's my little list. There's like 30 of them. I hope you could find 3 or 4 hobbies and interests from all these lists. And lastly, if you want to know the step-by-step process, like starting with the section title and how to choose your different hobbies, to utilizing the action verbs on them, and applying appropriate numbers to produce your hobbies and interests section to look something like this, I have an entire video on that called the Activities, Hobbies, Interests on your resume and CV, where I go through a step-by-step process. So you can go take a look at that. So in this video, just as a quick recap, I discussed why you need the Hobbies and Interests section, and also showed you how you can choose the best hobbies for your resume. And lastly, gave you a little list of hobbies for that you can use for your resume as well. So there are many other additional resources available. If you're wondering about some of the most common mistakes people make on their application document, on their resume and CV, you can take a look at this, where I discuss like 22 of very common mistakes, including writing a poorly written summary because it's missing these kinds of elements, or just saving it as a wrong file type, even though the company asks for certain extensions of the file type. Or if you're wondering about the complete list of interview questions with some answers, including tell me about yourself or describe a time you demonstrated problem-solving skills using STAR technique, the situation, task, action, and result to answer these questions, you can go take a look at the videos on that as well. Well, I'm Professor Job Offer, and I'm here to help you land your next job. Thanks for watching.